independent pharmacy and COVID and going, what do they do? I know they got to be working on getting, if you don't have a vaccination program, they got to have a vaccination program. What else should they do? You know, we look at a restaurant. If I had a restaurant today, I'd be getting my delivery game on and trying to do that or my takeout without DoorDash, you know, really getting a really smooth, being able to come to my restaurant like you used to, but take away an amazing experience. Maybe that means Bud, you know, and if I'm a high-end place, that takeaway experience needs to be more. Maybe that's a Bud vase that goes along with, you know, maybe it's a couple of $10 wine glasses, you know, maybe what does that takeaway experience give me with that what I would have paid more for to be here in the restaurant, you know, not somebody, you know, some Uber driver delivering some plastic bag to me.
Right. I mean, how does your high-end steakhouse compete?
Right. Yeah. So if I was a high-end steakhouse, I would be figuring out how do I deliver a high-end steakhouse feel if you come and take away and take it back to your house. And what does that mean? Does it come with a tablecloth? You know, what is that experience? So how do we, as we translate that to independent pharmacy, right? And people aren't going to come, how do I over the next year and more transform that extra high touch experience that I give to serve people better who probably don't want to come in the pharmacy?
One pharmacy I saw that I thought was brilliant. They have like a really big women's health piece to their pharmacy. And what they've did was to, you know, they used to capture a lot of pre-COVID, a lot of just kind of walk in like, hey, look, this is what we think is best for you, whether you're pregnant or whatever, or what you're going through based on your prescriptions, and then plus like the OTC front end stuff. And so what they did was create these kits. They created these little kits for like, you know, prenatal or whatever, right? And that's what they're delivering or going through their drive-through, and kind of almost like a subscription model of that, like almost similar to like a Hims or something like that, that they're doing to supplement.
Like a Bark Box?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. And they're reaching out and still being able to try to get that same product movement through an easy, I don't have to think about kit. Instead of going, I need this, I need this, I need this. No, hey, how about this package? You, based on your disease state or whatever, you qualify for this. This is what you should get. So, and they've been successful doing that.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You could do that for flu season. You could do that for, you know, COVID, all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's just like a translation of something that seems obvious, but probably isn't. You know, 5 or 10 years ago, it was novel to have like kind of a protocol for doctors after you had like glaucoma surgery or cataract surgery. Right. You go to your pharmacy, you get your, you know, 2 drugs plus here's your care kit. This is really a kind of, how do you make that a subscription type box where I get?
How do we get our sniff stickers in there?
Right. Every kit comes with some sniff stickers. I like that.
If you can't smell this, genius. Call your doctor. I like that.
It's like you don't need all these high end.
See, we're back to my amazing idea.
We're back to this,
right? We're gonna have the stickers in the boxes we delivered.
It's finally time for an application of scratch and sniff that's not kindergarten.
Yeah.
Hey, you could include a fragrant marker in the kit, right? Just open the kit and it smells like strawberry, doesn't smell.
And then you can draw with it.
And then you can draw, right? Have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, what about the people we're delivering to? You know, how do you know, one of the interesting things, you know, you look at experiences like Apple, right? And you open a new Apple product and how it's packaged, and you know, a couple of those vendors like that really do a good job of packaging things. And we don't want something superficial, right? Where okay, we're just putting pretty packaging around something, but how do you up that delivery game to what the patient's getting, where they feel like, not just feel like, where they're getting a much better experience, that experience with the pharmacy.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to draw on somebody else I talked to. They did, this is a really cool program. Now it's not something you can do every time, but what they did is they powered through for a month and had a bunch of kids write a bunch of like, hope you're doing well in isolation kind of messages and notes. And they gathered all of them up from their patients that they could, and they ran a program on it, right? And then they stuffed those into those deliveries that they had to make for their elderly patients that have to completely isolate. And I thought that was just the coolest thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think about, you know, Marcia's grandmother's not going anywhere, just literally not go anywhere. Well, how amazing a note from a kid in a school and connecting those and just saying, hey, I hope you're doing well. Neat. Anybody else heard of anything? Or
I mean, I've heard people spending a lot more time getting their delivery drivers. It's kind of making sure they're friendly and asking new questions, because they have a whole lot of people now that aren't coming into the pharmacy. So, really giving like kind of a checklist to their delivery driver of make sure you ask these questions. So you're still getting the same experience you would get if you went into the store. But, that's going to depend heavily on how good your delivery driver is. But that's an area where independent pharmacies excelled historically. So I think they can upskill their drivers a little bit and add a huge value to that.
I've seen, and I think we've seen other pharmacies do this too, or equip them with equipment, right? Like, bring an iPad and go FaceTime with the pharmacist because he needs to talk to you about XYZ, right? And it's just, hey, this is what you got to do. Just take an iPad with cellular service, and we're gonna FaceTime you.
And that's that's the COVID's going to change stuff. COVID's sped things up. COVID's going to make people think about getting things delivered that they didn't think before. And if it works, they're going to keep doing it. And it may be a general, it may work getting it from Amazon, or it may work getting it from CVS's, but there's still opportunity. What an independent pharmacist has is agility, right? I can do agility and personalization that a big company trying to do this with 8,000 locations and with, 4 million people can't even begin to capture. And so figuring out that type of personalization and doing those things that make sense, getting that local school to write notes to local people who are, Amazon could never do that. And those would be the independent pharmacy is going to have to adjust to the new reality that some people aren't going to go to the pharmacy. And, they're looking at, there are people saying this isn't masked for a year. This is 4 or 5 years. This is, we don't know how long immunity is going to last. We don't know how good shots are going to be,
Well, and the first part of that is we can't guarantee that this is the last pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to say that we were lucky, but we were lucky that COVID wasn't substantially worse. We were massively unprepared for this kind of stuff. So, there will be another one or something similar. So having those good habits and capabilities of curbside and drive-through and masking, it's the new way of life. And totally that's my kind of unfortunate doom and gloom.
Yeah. Way to bring the room down.
Dun, dun.